Alright, so I made this Fox little list here about the new graphics cards. Kind of getting ready for RDNA 2 launch. This is like I guess a pre-RDNA 2 speculation where everything's gonna kind of be, I guess. I don't have this ordered in the most normal ways. I have kind of two separate lists on the same tier list. So down here, I just have 4K, 1440p, and 1080p, what the best cards would be. Again, like, besides the 3080 and 3090, like, we don't have any details. We barely have details about this A6000. The 3070, we're just getting, like, some leaked benchmarks. We're just getting leaked benchmarks for, like, I believe, like, a 6800 XT. I don't even have, pictures of them. So I have here the two-fan card is the 6700 XT. This three-fan one without the red lining trim up top is a 6800 XT. This red one here is a 6900. This blue writing is 6900 XT, and then this one is, if there is a, let's say, biggest Navi past there. That's gonna have here, and then this one's 37, and this one's a 6000. So I'm gonna talk about, I guess the first thing will be, other than already prefacing that I have no idea what any of these are gonna be. I'm gonna guess that biggest Navi will probably be okay. So let me go in the best order, and then we'll go down here because this is more like gaming. This is kind of what the cards are. I suspect they'll be. The A6000 I suspect to be Nvidia's best reviewed card, best price per performance, everything. I don't think there's going to be anything on the Nvidia stack that's going to compare for this specifically, because this one up here is the best cards versus, and also high workloads. So it's like, it doesn't really matter. Like, if this card is not faster than the 6900 XT, 6900 XT, then the, oh god, the 3090, if it's not faster than 3090, then it's kind of like, you know, but if it has like 250 watt TDP, then we're talking, this is probably their best reviewed and selling card. Whatever big Navi is going to be AMD's highest performing. So I'm putting, I guess, one of each up here because I'm expecting what'll be the best out of all of them. I don't think Nvidia is going to have anything that's going to come close to this A6000 in terms of it being the best price per performance and necessary card for what it's aimed for. Like, as much as everybody wants to defend it, a 3090 is marketed to be a gaming card. So the 3090 really is down here. In all honesty, it's like low tier. Like this, I would say it doesn't have widespread problems. So it's not like a card that's like plagued with issues. It's just it. I would say the 3080 is probably here, although the 3080 also belongs in this mid tier as well. It's just like I want to have an asterisk around the 3080. The 3080 is just in a weird spot. It had a really bad launch. There were just so many things just not going for it, unfortunately. As far as price per performance, because this worst cards here isn't price per performance. This is just if there's widespread issues, the card is really bad, yada yada yada. Like if I were making a 5700 or 5600 XT tier list, the Sapphire Nitro would be up here, and then that not Power Color, there's some other one that's like really bad. We put it down here like that. That's what I mean. It's not like it's not a bad price performance. It's just this also has a really not a lot of things going for it around the launch. Although I would not put the 3090 any higher than here because of the price performance and the issues that do plague the card of they should probably put GDR6. It's really only a 10% increase for more than 100% markup. So I'll have the 3080 sit here, but just know that the 3080 You know, I'm gonna have it sit in the worst cards because just know the 3080 is gonna be here, but like this is where it goes price per performance. I think the 3070 is probably gonna be their like a good price performance. I think that's gonna be their like sweet spot. Because honestly, like a lot of people want to dismiss it, but the RT Studio, and if the ray tracing is better, then the RT Studio actually does mean something. If the ray tracing is not better, then the RT Studio is just a gimmick. You know, all it really gives you, the two big things it gives you is the cancellation of noise in the background and the automatic green screen. Are really it. And DLSS if there is no DLSS option. But if they match the frame rates without a DLSS option, then they don't really need DLSS because it's not in everything right now. Hence why this is all speculative. This will be, I'll make another one when after Wednesday. Just gonna move all these down here so I don't get confused with it all. And I didn't mark this for anyone who missed. This is Big Navi. All right, this is not like these aren't whatever they are because we have no pictures. I'm just assuming this is 67, 68, whatever, yada yada. So yeah, I think the 3070 is going to be their highest performing card. Again, if the ray tracing does nothing, like if the ray tracing, if it matches it or if it's slightly higher, then the RT Studio will mean something to people, because then if the ray tracing is going to be a big thing for the future that people are buying it for, even if it doesn't matter, right? Because we can argue all day whether or not it matters. I would say that the ray tracing doesn't matter right at the moment. It is nice depending on the games you play and which ones you have. Like if you have control and you don't have something that has ray tracing on, like ray tracing is going to look big to you. If you have Death Stranding and you can't really play it that well, and DLSS is going to be a big option for you. You know, if you're a Fortnite player, a Minecraft player, ray tracing might mean something, especially Minecraft. It looks great. So, but the thing is like because we know AMD is going to have a competitive card. If no doubt about that, they're going to be competitive. If their 3070 is having, if their competitor for the 3070 is going to be less than 500, their competitor for the 3080 is going to be less than 700. Their competitor for a 3060 card is going to be less than like a 300, 350. It's going to be in that range, like a competitor with that card, which I believe probably be like whatever the 6700 XT is. Although the 6700 XT might just duel with the fucking 3070, and they just might bump down. And then the 5700 XT might be just so cheap that it's the 3060 competitor, whatever. Again, all speculation. We really don't have that much. We really don't have much going. So if it means nothing, it's just extra. For me, it's nice. I don't have to do an extra software for the noise cancellation, and I don't need a green screen to use it. So it is an actual factor to think about. But the ray tracing doesn't hold up enough that it's not really going to matter. You know, it only matters if their ray tracing is better. If they're battling on frame rates, if TDP isn't an issue for you, which it might not be, and something specifically like a 3070, like whatever their 3070 competitor is, might be or actually around the same price point, just might get slightly better performance, just not with ray tracing at all. Ray tracing might just be worse overall. So that might be a big thing there. I don't really think so. I would go more to say that there's probably a mid-high tier, you know, but I'll put this in mid-tier. I really don't want to. I don't want to make another. Here. Mid-high tier. Make it gray. The mid-high tier. We'll put the 3070 in. I don't think there's actually anything else that's going to go in here. I expect highest price perform like. I think the 6700 XT will fit either in front of this or here. Again, it's just speculation. This one's a little closer of a match, whatever their bottom line card that's supposed to deal with this. Like, I think the 6800 XT is supposed to deal with the 3080. Maybe the 6900 will be more of a like mid-tier kind of like basically dealing with the 3080 and then the 6900 XT. Now, again, like we have no information about all of this. I'm just assuming here, and I'm making an ass out of me. That's fine. That there's going to be a 6700 XT, 6800 XT, 6900, 6900 XT, and a fifth. That fifth might be a 6900 XT. I thought there might be 4 SKUs. Then I was hearing stuff about the 6800 XT reaching like 2.4, 2.5 gigahertz. Again, it's all leaks. You can't really like. We'll find out in a couple days. But there's not really anything I can go off of. If this doesn't exist, then this goes here with it, and then this will probably go down to mid-high tier with the 6900 being there. You know, I think I'm actually gonna put the 6800 XT. I think I'm gonna put the 6800 XT right here. No, I think I'm gonna put this here because because if the 6800 XT is what deals with the 3080, and this is pretty big. If it deals with the 3080, then this is tentatively the tier list right here. If it deals with the 3080, because it's gonna underperform. It's gonna undercut it as far as price goes. It's gonna have a lower TDP. It's gonna have more VRAM. The ray tracing might not be better. But those 3 things are definites. It's not things you can speculate on. We know that they all have better TDP. We know that they're going to have 8 to 16 gigabytes worth of VRAM, maybe more, but they're going to have at least 8 gigabytes on like the 6700 XT, or if there's something lower than that, whatever the Navi 23 is going to have at least 8 gigabytes. Going up, there might be a Navi 23 that has either 10 or 12 gigabytes. With 6800 XT could have 12 to 16 gigabytes, and then from there on could have 16 to 24 gigabytes. But we know it's going to have more than 10, whatever competes with the 3080. We know it's going to be more power. It's going to have better power consumption. We know that. We know that there's not really any difference between this GDR6X and this GDR6. Right, 10 gigabytes of GDR6X versus 16 gigabytes of GDR6. No, there is no contest. We know these things because of the launch. That's why these two are so close. In the mid-high tiers, this 6700 XT and the 3070, whatever, or AMD's whatever competes with the 3070, because this is the one that actually is going to have a lot more stock. It's going to be at a lower price point, which they might lower depending on how low AMD goes. It's going to have a similar TDP. For that card, 8 gigabytes, it's not supposed to be the 4K card, so it should be fine. Again, if this comes out with 12 gig, like it could be the same thing of this versus whatever is here versus the 3080. The difference is the TDP here and the GDR6X, I mean, helping with the TDP not being great. Like, those things we know are going to be here. We know that the VRAM in a card that's not really supposed to be for 4K, it being outmatched in VRAM, it will outsell, like VRAM sells cards, but it will not be as detrimental as a 3080 that has 10 gigabytes and something that's a competitor that has 16 gigabytes. Like if this comes out with 8 gigabytes of a 3070 and competitor is 12 gigabytes, yeah, it'll sell it more, of course, but it won't be like the 16 gigabyte whatever AMD has compared to the 3080. They're not going to be in the same tiers like that. So I think that this is going to be the way that it goes. This could change. Everything AMD up here is speculative because we don't have anything. I think everything for Nvidia is pretty much like set. Like if I take everything else out, if we just do the Nvidia stuff right here, I don't think there's anything that's going to be a high. I think they're mid-tier, which I could put this in high tier for just talking. If we're just talking Nvidia, we're not putting AMD here. I could probably put this here. $500 for a better ray tracing version of a 2080 Ti. slightly better, slightly less performance, like a 5% margin, you know, for $500, sure. Basically the same, or I think it's actually a little bit less power consumption than 2080 Ti. That's what I think it's going to be. Again, this could be here as far as performance. I have so many things against it, the 3080. The 3090 is just not a card that's good for what it's marketed for. And this seems to take all the issues that these have here to actually make a decent workload card for high workloads. Oh my god. So yeah, so I'm gonna move on to the gaming portion of this.